Thank you. So, I'm just curious what the crowd is all about here tonight. Are you guys here for freedom, maybe? Let's do it. And you know what I like about you guys? There's a lot of people that talk about it. You guys are doing it. And I can't thank you enough for doing that. So thank you. So this event at 4 o'clock is the kickoff for the long-term haul of getting the truckers to stay here at the legislature, parking up front. We've been working, Lori had to go, Citizens for Change, Campbell River, and we've been working on fundraising for a short bit, and we're already up to over $3,000. So that money comes from you, the people, as we pull together. And what it is, we want to empower them so they can stay here, because unless we put pressure on the government and we're in their face, they don't care. That's all there is to it. And I could, I'll tell you a couple stories in a little bit about that one. Well, I'll tell you right now. I've had a couple meetings with our MLA in Campbell River. I got a lot of talk. I know her from school board talk. She was on the school board. She told me a lot of other talk there. And so we made a meeting with her. We did the dance. Had a meeting with her. And then after she gave us some fluff, I opened the doors for our protesters to come in. Because previous to that, she's like, oh, that's so awesome that you guys are practicing your freedom. And then you know what? When they came in, you know what she did? She hit the panic button, the alarm, phoned the police. She laughed at us being outdoors, but once we got in her face, she phoned the police, pushed for criminal charges against our freedom, because we had every right. And sorry, I should tell you the rest of the story. We were in there very peaceful. Come on, guys, we gotta come in very, very quiet. We can't interrupt the business. And I presented what I presented to her, and it was very, very peaceful. And by the time they arrested me and Lori, I was drinking my tea, and there was about 3 or 4 of us in the office. And so the moral of the story is, what we're doing here is we got to stay and put the pressure on them. So so you know what, we need you guys to encourage people and let people know that more or less what they're doing in Ottawa, we can do the same here. I've been working very closely with the officers, and they know that we're wanting to make change, and they accept that, and they're practicing our freedom, right? So anyways, I hope you're encouraged to move this forward and have a change. All right, that's what I want to hear. I'm not sure if I'm hearing y'all. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I've done enough talking, but one last thing before I forget. Tuesday to Thursday is when we can be in their face, because they're here, right? It's really important. So I'm wondering how many people are going to be here tomorrow at 1 o'clock? All right, that's what I want to hear. And you know what? There's some of us that are staying for quite a while, but we might not have trucks, but we're here. And so tomorrow, if you show up, we'll find out what we're going to do on Monday. And you know what? Maybe we'll want to start doing some, maybe an hour a day, half an hour a day, doing some community work to show them that we care for our city and what our country is supposed to be made of. Am I right? So, and I'm looking forward to having conversations with you guys. I'll stay all night if you want, but I want to hear ideas about what you think we can do so we can empower each other to do this. All right? Everybody, she says. So, I'm going to call up Dr. Philip here. He's going to present. He's getting a little cold, I'm guessing, and he's been very patient. He's been here all day, so I want to call him up first and let him speak for a few minutes on something. So thank you, Dr. Philip.
All right. An Asian counts for something, huh? You know, the truth will set you free! And the free will find the truth! All right, let's hear it. The truth will set you free! And the free will find the truth! You know, it's awfully cold here in Victoria. in souk or bananas are just about to ripen. How many soukers here? Yes! Soukers are not soakers most of the time. I hope you understand. I have to be here. I must be here. You must be here. And I said last Saturday, that man, that statue, could be my father. He was in the First World War. He was in the Second World War. And I had cousins and uncles that died for these freedoms. And you're getting a little bit of suffering now. Man, they suffered. Really suffered. Can you imagine my father? There was 15 in the French trenches, commanding a company at the age of 17. You haven't seen that anywhere. But I'm here also because I'm a physician. And I have a dual obligation to treat and to prevent. Correct? So I have to tell you the truth. And I have an obligation to do that. And some of you are confused, and I don't blame you. But if you feel on the issue of the viruses and such like, I will tell you the best. But my wife is a pediatrician geneticist. She worked at the University of Paris with the pioneer of genetics, Professor Jérôme Lejeune. So she's actually a very famous pediatrician. Anyhow, I want you to hear what Dr. Anthony Fauci says. Does that name ring a bell? All right, well, this is what he says, believe it or not, and this is in the New England Journal of Medicine, came out January 27th this year, right up to date. This is what Fauci says. SARS-CoV-2 primarily infect the epithelial cells of mucosal surfaces and have limited contact with the systemic immune system. Thus, they elicit incomplete and transient protective immunity and allow reinfections. That's the man who developed this. Do you understand what he's saying?
He's fraud! He's a murderer!
Yes.
Yeah. And it is a shame because it's bad science. And I will apologize on behalf of all of the other scientists, and I'm a scientist, and lots of published papers, peer reviewer, etc. And I will not tolerate bad science. I am a peer reviewer. Yeah. So I'm here with you guys to expose this. I have to be here. You have to be here. The other issue that I was hoping to mention, if I get 2 minutes? 1 minute.
There you go. Go ahead, buddy. Go.
Myocarditis. You know they say myocarditis, it's only simple and it's very light, etc. Do you understand that it actually kills the cells in the heart? And those cells do not grow back. So if an athlete gets myocarditis, he will never be an athlete again. You understand that?
Yes. Horrible.
And have you heard of VIT, vaccine-induced thrombocytopenia? And that happened here in Vancouver not so long ago, and they had to cut the lady's leg off. These are real things. It's because they did not do the basic research. And now Fauci is saying, well, it's about time we went back and did some animal studies. And you said, oh gosh, this is backwards. No, you have been the experimental subject. Do you realize that? A worldwide experiment. Wonderful if you're Fauci. But it isn't so wonderful because you did not consent.
Evil!
And
So
if
evil!
somebody had said, would you be a subject in my experiment? I'd say, yeah, well, tell me more about it. On the basis of a double-blind study, they determined whether an antibiotic is useful, right? How much is it better than placebo? All of these studies about vaccine are on the basis of double-blind study. That is, the subject is blind, supposedly, and the experimenter is blind, supposedly. Well, I can tell you on the basis of the research that I've done, that is BS.
Yeah!
BS meaning bad science, of course. Right? Well, I grew up on a farm. I milked cows before I went to school. Anyhow, none of the studies done on any of the vaccines that are supposedly double-blind are double-blind. How can I say that? Because they didn't go to check. If I asked you as a subject, can you tell me if you were on the experimental medicine or if you were on placebo? Could you tell me? Yes, he could tell me. He could tell me. And on the basis of that, his expectations change. As his expectations go up, his ability to get better goes up, correct? That's placebo effect. And I can tell you, it'll get me into all sorts of trouble, it already has. There are no double-blind studies showing the effectiveness of any of these vaccines. Did you know that? None. And you know that because they didn't go to bother to check. And I've done this because I've done the research, and I go and I find out if the subject can tell me if they're on a placebo or the real stuff. And if it's 50-50, right, random, then you know it's double-blind. But in the experiments, and we did a whole decade of experiments, they weren't blind whenever they asked. So what's so important about this is it's false, and they're convincing you on the basis of false information. And I won't study, I won't tolerate that. It's,
Liars!
liars. Now, last week when I was here, I said I had a cold, and I hope you got it. Right? Did you get my cold? You got it. Because it's called viral incompatibility. Have you heard that term? It's used in veterinary medicine. And it means that if you have influenza, you're not likely to have a cold at the same time. You know that, don't you? You don't have cold and influenza at the same time. These viruses are incompatible. Now, why wouldn't they use that in the treatment of COVID? It's so simple, but it doesn't cost anything, right?
Genocide!
And the other thing is that the Chinese, and I've been in Wuhan, the Chinese started using what is called convalescent plasma. People who get over the COVID have in them antibodies, and you can separate that out and treat people with it, and it's effective. Are they using that? There's no money in it. Does that tell you something? I want to give you my cold because I have made this observation that these two viruses are incompatible. So catch a cold, everybody. You won't need COVID. All right. Go. You gotta go. You gotta go. To go. You gotta go. You gotta go. To go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Now I say this because you guys don't know, and know my father and uncles and all sorts of people fought in the wars. My great-grandfather saved Confederation, and I mean that. You can look it up in history if you want. The Honorable James Aikens. And what happened is that MacDonald had a minority government, and he was going for Confederation. But if he lost his seat in the House, he was no longer government, there would be no Confederation. My great-grandfather, the Honorable James Aikens, was a Grit, a liberal. And he says, I want Confederation. So he talked to a number of the other Grits in Parliament and said, come on guys. And he walked across the House, saved MacDonald's government, saved Confederation. Here's what... Anyhow, you guys have a very, 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 very important mandate. You think the mandates matter, you've got a more important mandate, right? The truth will make you free. The free will find the truth. God bless you.
All right.
Why do we get to listen to that again?
You want to hear that again? I see this gentleman recording it. Where can we get this recording?
Well, later today or tomorrow on YouTube for sure.
Okay. Can you set us up with that in a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to make a little confession for you guys. When Trudeau said we're a small fringe group, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I knew there was a couple of us, and I've been organizing, thinking, where is everybody? And I have to confess, he was wrong. Because the last I saw, the Check 6 poll was, I think, 86% of people were supporting the trucker convoy. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but that now makes them the small fringe, doesn't it? All right, I don't know. All right, okay. I got something kind of exciting. I'm excited to tell you. Lori is going to break the news. It's her idea. About Tuesday. You're all pumped to tell me about it. Come on, Lori. So Lori, she's a lady that didn't want the job. And she still has the job because nobody's taken her job. And she simply started rallying each week in Campbell River. She's persevered each week, consistently, done everything she could to be presented and respectful to everybody. And she's earned that respect. And you know what? I just want to say thank you, Lori. And you know what? Each and one of us, we all have abilities to impact your community in different ways. So can we give Lori a thank you?
Hi, everybody. Before we get going, I want you to just look around and I want you to just say hi to everybody and say hello to your fellow freedom fighters. Okay, Tuesday. All right, that's great. You know, that gives me a second to just kind of ground myself, otherwise I'm just going to blow it big time. So it's more for me than it is you guys, so thank you so much. So Tuesday, there'll be a poster circulating around soon as we can make it. We are planning on a rally around the legislature on Tuesday, and that is because they are in session. And we need to hold them accountable. It's time that they know and they see all of us. We've been gathering in our cities and our towns, and it's time for us to come together, and we have. And briefly, I just want to say one more thing about the convoy. I created the poster, but I have to tell you, all I did was create the poster, and every single person that shared it, participated, whether they were in the convoy or on the side of the road, are the convoy. Here's to freedom.
All right. You know what? I think we did a lot more of this before my time. Am I right? Before TVs, internet, media. We get to, so in Sayward, I heard this old fella tell me this story. He said when they were older, every Friday they got at the hall, they did a dance, and then the next day they did something else. And once the tube came out, it slowly dwindled away. I thought that, you know, that was before my time, but I thought that was very interesting, right? And now you can see a little bit, we can look back on social media, how much it's impacted us. And you know, we can say a lot of bad things about COVID, we can say a lot of bad things about the government, but I think it's also got us back to understanding a little bit more about what's important. And this is it right here, getting together, getting to know each other. So thank you for that. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna call Sean, the next speaker up here. And before I forget, if anybody does have to go, they don't get a chance, I have an email sign up here. So we will, I can't say I'll get to that in the next couple of days, but we'll get you on our mass email list. They won't be shared with anybody. And that's how we keep in touch in Camp River. And I've been doing this for a few years in BC. And so please up here, put your name and email address on it. And I'm gonna call Sean. Are you ready, Sean? Sean, right? Sorry.
This is John.
Sorry, John. It was really loud. It was so close.
Don't worry.
Thank you, John.
Whoa! Look at you all! Very fringy, are we? So listen, I got some great news, all right? I'm triple vaxxed, and I feel fine. No, but really, I have one issue, one side effect, and that's tyranny. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Kovacs. I'm a Canadian. I identify as an independent journalist, and I am the fringe. When I first started coming here, there were about 300 of us. Today and last week, there were thousands of people. We need to keep this up. Give yourselves a big hand. We are the fringe. We are Canadians. We're not the vaxxed. We're not the unvaxxed. We will not allow ourselves to be defined in that way. We have come here today because in our hearts and in our souls, we know something is terribly wrong with Canada. We do not recognize this country. This is our country. We do not agree with this division. We do not answer to the authorities and their illegal ways. We do not answer to this darkness that is cast over us. We're living in a post-truth world. Most of you realize that by now. We've got governments, health authorities, corporations, mainstream media, all conspiring to sell us a steady stream of fear and lies.
Yes, brother.
In an effort to subvert us and our democratic rights, and eventually turn us all into their dystopian vision of a nation of obedient, powerless, and isolated slaves. What do we say to that? No way! Again, no way! They conspire to divide us. They make us fear and hate one another. They vilify patriots as criminals and celebrate violent anarchist groups like BLM, like Antifa, and they turn them into heroes. All this they are doing so as to execute their full spectrum domination over our free society. Today, I have some information that I cannot honestly corroborate in its authenticity, but it is no more or less truthful than all the propaganda that is being spewed daily and hourly by our government and the media. I cannot personally corroborate its authenticity or its actual source, so you'll have to use your own discernment to decide for yourself. The information I have is allegedly coming from a whistleblower at the Department of Defense, the American Department of Defense. Now hear this. On January 24th last, Senator Ron Johnson, had a 5-hour hearing on the COVID second opinion. His lawyers gave testimony. Okay? It was presented DoD medical billing as billing information for the DoD, which is the Defense Medical Epidemiology, sorry on that word, database. The findings are as follows. This is for 2021. Neurological issues, 1,000% increase from a baseline average of 82,000 to 863,000. Cancer, an almost 30% increase in cancer diagnosis from a 5-year average of 38,700 per year to 114,645 in the first 11 months of 2021. Pulmonary embolisms, 467% increase. Myocardial infractions, 269% increase. Bell's palsy, 291% increase. Miscarriages, 300% increase in 2021 over the 5-year average. The 5-year average was 1,499 codes for miscarriages per year. During the first 10 months of 2021, it was 4,182. Congenital malformations, that's our children, 150%, 56% increase. Female infertility, 471% increase. The DoD takes these statistics for national security reasons. Now, for a moment, just imagine that these statistics are correct. All right? Imagine the implications of this information with respect to vaccine mandates, in fact, if these are true. So right here, this is the line I draw. I'm done being told by my barista to put my mask on. I am done being told by my restaurant server to show me my papers. I am done being fired. I am done being scapegoated. I am done being censored. I am done being told by social media that I am a racist, a bigot, all for standing up for my freedom and sovereign rights, for my choice on deciding what is right for my body. I am done living under the threat of a tyrannical government. I am done with Gen Xers and millennials who have fallen for the incantations of the black magic and trying to convince them that our government is not your friend and cannot be trusted. I am done with the 95-year-old at the grocery store who is afraid to die and remind me I have to wear my mask over my nose. Look, if it requires us graybacks to do this ourselves, and I will do so. All right? I'm almost done.
Keep going, you're awesome. You're nailing it.
In honor of Canada, in honor of the veterans who fought and died 3 wars so we can have our freedom and peace, here in this place, on this hill, I choose to fight and die for freedom. Will you stand for freedom? Show me your hands! We want our freedom! That's what we want. Say it with me. We want our freedom! Say it with me. We want our freedom! What do we want? Freedom! Again! Freedom! Louder! Freedom! Wonderful. Thank you. Now for some solutions. So here's what we can all do. Alone, I'm just one man, but together, we are great strength. We will yield our power of numbers and create peaceful dissent to resist all forms of tyranny. We will not play by the tyrant's rules. For example, we can congregate in groups of 100, and we can converge on our local shopping malls maskless through all entrance doors simultaneously and overwhelm security. We can reward these shops that will serve us with our money and exclude the mandate Nazis. In doing so, we will show the fearful that the state cannot harm and subdue us all. And at the same time, other people will begin to take their masks off in support. And they will prefer fresh air, which is healthy and not dangerous. And they will know that they are safe. All people will eventually learn the emperor has no clothes. And another example would be for people to organize and contact individual restaurants. Pre-arrange a nice mask-free dining day. Where we can fill entire dining rooms with unmasked customers and shower the restaurant with our money and the servers with our gratuities. It will not be long before all restaurants will welcome us. Right? Again, alone I am one person, but together we are many. We have the ultimate power as people. Remember, when a government is tyrannical, it is the duty of citizens to disobey their laws. May God bless our truckers! May God bless our freedom! May God bless Canada! Thank you!
I'll try. You think I can follow that? No, I don't think so. But I'll tell you what we can do. I was saying, well, I'll leave it. You know what? I was thinking we had to warm up for Tuesday, but he covered that pretty good. So we'll see what's coming next. All right, and I'm just excited to get this rolling. So I'm going to keep it going. First of all, though, we have Clayton is back over here. I want to say thank you, Clayton, and TK for what you did bringing the convoy together. So thank you again. Can we give a thank you, everybody? All right. And I'm going to call Serena. She's going to come up here for 5 minutes. We're trying to keep it less than 5 minutes if we can. Sorry. I'm going to try and keep it less than 5 minutes if we can, just so everybody can keep it rolling. We got a lot of people that want an opportunity. I want everybody to get a taste of who we are. All right?
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I am not used to standing in front of a mic, and so I'm going to speak from my heart, and I just kind of put a couple words down about what's important to me and why I am here and who I am. So who am I? First off, I'm a guest on these lands because I am from the Treaty 8 the Sucker Creek First Nation in Alberta, and I've been living here on Vancouver Island for 5 years. Who am I? I'm a strong, resilient Indigenous woman. Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just somebody in this crowd, like each of you, like a Canadian citizen. On Facebook, I'm Serena Freedom Bear. To my government, I'm a racist and a misogynist. To many who I journey with, using the medicine wheel, in Moon Lodge and Women's Circle, using in First Nation teachings to help them in their healing, I am a matriarch. I was taught by my elders that there is a warrior, the spirit of the warrior, and the tools of the warrior are growth. Because first you must look within yourself and you must ask yourself, who am I and what do I stand for? The second element of the warrior is trust. You trust your path and you trust that you don't stand alone and you trust that you stand for something. And the last element of the warrior is love. Because all we do is we come from a spirit of love. Because we love ourselves, we love our families, we love our community, we love our Canada. And so we stand here as warriors, not just me, but each of you, in growth, trust, and love for the Canada that we love. Who am I? I'm a granddaughter. From my matriarchal lineage, 5 grandfathers back, I come from a great chief, Chief Mustus. That's from Treaty 8 territory, one of the signatories of the treaties. His brother, my other Muslim, which means grandfather in Cree, Kinuseo, another chief and signatory of Treaty 8. Were those treaties honored? This corrupt government has done this before. Who am I? My Muslim, that means grandfather, he went to residential school, forced, came out and went to World War II to fight for everybody here, our freedom. When he came home to Canada, he was not considered a citizen, much like us. When we were told we are not Canadians and we have unacceptable views, that we don't represent Canadians.
He doesn't represent Canada.
He did not have the right to vote. He needed a pass. His family, our ancestors, needed passes to leave the reserves. No different than the Vax Pass that they're making us all show to travel, to dine in restaurants, to access museums and skating rinks and take our children to go swimming. This is no different than what we've already seen. The discrimination. And that's why we stand here today against discriminatory mandates, against the discriminatory Vax Pass. So who am I? I'm not an Anishinaabe, but thank you. Thank you.
Yes, but yes.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. The Cree are part of the Anishinaabe. Thank you. Absolutely. But you know what I want to say here? I'm you. You're me. We're each other. We're our children. We're our grandchildren. We're our grandparents. That's who we are. We're Canadians. We're standing here in honor and integrity. And we're standing up for our Canada because we know and we see what is happening. You know what else? We stand shoulder to shoulder with the anti-protesters who showed up today. Because they are exercising their charter rights. And we accept that they have the freedom to do that, as do we. We are protected under the Charter of Freedom and Rights because it is there to protect us from corrupt governments. And we will stand for that, for our rights, I just want to say something else. How many times have we been told that this is not discrimination? I know discrimination. Discrimination runs through my blood. But I've done the healing, and I've touched the medicine and the wisdom and the power of it. As many of your ancestors have faced in their homelands, we know the wisdom and the power of what is happening here, what we are speaking up against. It is no different if I was discriminated against for being First Nations. It is no different if I was being discriminated against for being a woman. It is no different for being discriminated against for my gender, my sexual preference, my medical choices. Because those are all protected in the Charter of Freedom and Rights. And we will keep standing. Yes, this is meant to inconvenience you. Because imagine the inconvenience that we all face. And thank you to those who are standing shoulder to shoulder with us, no matter what your medical choices were. Because we all stand for freedom. Just like those protesters who were there to protest against freedom. We accept that, and we stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And I told them today, I love you. I love you, and I am proud to stand with you. And thank you for standing with me today in whatever you're standing in. But thank you. And you know what I want to say to all of you? Thank you. Thank you to our truckers. Thank you to those in Ottawa. Thank you to those who have been carrying the torch for 2 years. Thank you to all the people who are driving around, beeping, sharing our messages, sharing our live feeds, sharing our, whether it's publicly or not, waving a flag, showing up here. Thank you. Because we're all doing our part. If you want to share what I'm sharing today, it's being live streamed. It'll be on my page, Serena Freedom there. Because this is not a racist movement. This is for everybody's freedoms. Thank you.
Freedom, 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 freedom. Thank you. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but is that not moving? And it just brings you back to your roots, who we are, why we're here, and it's just more affirming, isn't it? That we just have to push harder and with love and encouraging our government to do what they need to do for us, because they've been hired by us and voted in for us or by us to do what they need to do. So what I'm going to do now, and I don't want to put anybody under any pressure or uncomfortableness, but we're going to do a little bit of an offering. All this money will go through Citizens for Change in Campbell River, and it goes directly to this whole push. We want to get the truckers here, and we don't want them to leave, and we want them to keep coming from across the country, the province, wherever it takes. So there's Leah and Greg, who I know here, if you don't mind, right? Sorry. Greg, sorry, did you tell you? Did she ask you? Oh, she did. The wife didn't tell the husband he was going to help. So, and TK, and sorry, this nice lady in blue here. Thank you. Yes. All right. I'm going to call this gentleman up here, and I forgot his name. If you'd like to come up, Aaron. Aaron, and where are you from, Aaron? Victoria. One of the locals right here. So remember, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, guys, if you can be here. And I know it hasn't been on social media. Maybe Lori can create another poster and get it out there for tonight by the next hour. What do you think, Lori? And anyways, 1 o'clock tomorrow. You know what? I'm thinking what we could do, if you like this, what do you think? We could do a 1 hour talk, half-hour talk, and then we hit the vehicles and go honking, warm up for Tuesday. What do you think? Is that okay? We can keep it short and sweet. Would you guys rather have it short and sweet rather than all day so it's too long and you can't commit to it? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Okay, short and sweet, and we're gonna warm up for Tuesday. All right? Okay. Thank you.
Right. Well, my name's Aaron, the brother of Moses.
Sorry, can I buy you one second?
And sorry, on those boxes, if you don't have cash or what have you, there's an e-transfer there. Just take a picture of that with your phone if you'd like to do an e-transfer. And for some random reason, we just thought we won't bother with GoFundMe. We thought we'd try something different. Sorry, I don't know the gist of all the details. Sorry, buddy. 1 second. I don't want to forget this. Before I forget, though, if anybody donated to the GoFundMe for the World Convoy, I understand if you paid by Visa, it'll cost them $15 per transaction. And there's some rumor about there being a 2-day time span. Am I right? Is there a 2-day time span or something? Or I don't know. Anyways, get your money back and send it to them somehow.
Well, I have an update with that, actually. Okay, so I'm a little nervous, but just think about Justin Trudeau right now, wherever he is. I came here last week thinking that I would be the only person. I literally thought I would be the only person here. And when I showed up and there were hundreds of people here, it nearly brought me to tears. So I've got a couple. I'll try to keep this brief because we're cold, but I mean it's not Ottawa, so I got that. I got a couple points, and I've got this piece of paper here for the letter I sent to Bonnie Henry. And if you go through Bonnie Henry's provincial order, she absolves herself of having to reconsider the order. And if you then go to the Health Care Act of British Columbia, it states clearly that if you are affected by a public health order, you are entitled to reconsidering by the health official who imposed it. She has stated clearly that she does not have the staff to do that. This is in contravention of the Act, and it's a criminal charge. I don't want to get into that, but I would suggest that we all flood the bureaucracy with anything that you can do. The other thing that you can do is contact the Human Rights Tribunal Canada. They don't call back, but it lodges a complaint, and what Justin Trudeau has done by classifying the people who have not been vaccinated, like myself, who cannot leave the country to go see my wife's dead father in London. It is a discrimination under genetic discrimination. So you can file a complaint with the Human Rights Code. I'm going to get these things out of the way because we all probably have things to go. I want to talk about cancer and Terry Fox, because a lot of hay was made about the obscene Canadian flags that were draped over Terry Fox. And if anybody who's lived in Victoria in their life knows that mile 0 is where Terry Fox would have put his foot in the ocean. And he didn't make it because cancer took his life. These vaccines have been associated with a multiple thousand-fold increase in cancer. Do you think Terry Fox would have accepted any of this? He fought and died for cancer to be eradicated. And this government is calling us criminal. It is obscene. So if you can donate to terryfox.org, you know, it's absurd that we even have to have this discussion. It is not a statue. That was a man who did his job as a Canadian and brought us together. My other point here, all right, so I'm going to go through this. If Justin Trudeau we have two options here. The police, and if we have our Overwatch, which we're taking video cameras of us, are they still there?
They're on a break.
Okay, but they're on a break, but what we need are the police to come on side. We need the police need to turn around and stand with the people against the government because they hold the firearms. I have a firearms license. I have firearms, but we are not those people that need Overwatch looking over us. We need the police on our side. Those police officers are our allies, and they should work for us. The problem is that they have pensions that the government controls. The pensions need to be controlled by the people.
That's right.
It ends the minute they turn around, okay? So that's to the police.
Good point.
And, okay, so we have the truckers at the border in Coutts, Alberta. Okay, they're on the front line. They're on the front line because the border is the enclosure of the open air prison that you are located in if you're unvaccinated. Justin Trudeau has deemed from on high and passed that on to the premiers of each province to control that border. He started at the federal level with federal employees. He then went to the transportation sector of the air, rail, and sea. The next thing of the unions and the truckers, if you read Sun Tzu, The Art of War, it talks about the supply baggage trade. And that is what the tactic is to break the unions, and then they break everything. Okay, so if the truckers hadn't stood up for us, we would be
Lost. We'd be lost.
lost. The war is lost before it, and Justin Trudeau knows that. My guess is that Justin Trudeau was trying to instigate a January 6th style event so that he could impose force, and Canadians flank maneuvered him with peaceful protest. So wherever you're hiding, Justin, you big tough guy, come and box me. Like, anything. Anyway. I'm a tough guy, but I broke down in tears watching people across Canada over overpasses, cheering people on as Global TV, CBC, and CTV ignored it. Ignored it. Okay, so the question here is, this will go back to negotiations. When the police confront the truckers in Coutts and they say, okay, well, we've got this mandate, and the truckers are saying, okay, well, we want you to restrict the requirement to inject us with a needle, with a substance known to cause all of the things that we've talked about, cancer, or the police to enforce and impose the mandate. The decision is clear cut. You remove the injection. It's an injection with a needle or police force. It's clear cut. I don't know why we're even discussing this.
We remove Justin, that's what we do.
Justin Trudeau needs to be removed. His caucus needs to turn and say, look, you put in a good fight, you're our leader, but you're done. You're done. It's done. You wanted globalism, Justin? This is a global movement, and I just want to point out a couple of wins. Okay? 20 countries now, and counting, all have blockades of trucks going through their cities. Okay? Within the last week. Okay? The GoFundMe, okay? At 4 o'clock today, they revoked their decision to keep the funds. They're automatically returning the funds to the donors. You don't have to do anything. They're returning their money. Okay? I would suggest learning Bitcoin and sending money that way, but that's a different subject. So that is a huge win, and GoFundMe is going to fall. Saskatchewan has lifted their mandates. Alberta has lifted their mandates. Bonnie Henry, once she reads that she's in contravention of the Provincial Health Act of British Columbia, which she knows she is, but she's unaccountable, then she may deign to free us from the bonds of her dictates. It's bizarre.
Jail for her.
Anyway, so I'm freezing, but I stand in solidarity with Canadians who are in Ottawa freezing their asses off. They're freezing out there, so it's the least we can do here, and it warms my heart to to see everyone here, and I'm not standing alone as a fringe lunatic. Anyways, cheers.
All right, you guys are still here. We got a couple more on our lineup list here, and you know what? Somebody said, well, there's one guy. It's a little intimidating watching some of these guys. I'll be honest, and I am just a guy up here too, and we all have something to offer. So I don't want anybody to be discouraged by not being able to do something or thinking they're better, because it's each of us. Sorry, I thought somebody said something. I want to repeat it. It sounded pretty good. Thank you. So yes. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
I just wanted to say my BitChute channel is Trudeau Needs to Go.
His BitChute channel is Trudeau Needs to Go. Okay, next gentleman up here in the helmet, if you don't mind. Alrighty, thank you.
He's fringy.
Let's give him a cheer!
I'll bend over. My name's Frank. I'm just an electrician. And apparently this is the COVID mic. Yeah, step down. But I already got COVID before Christmas, so I've got natural immunity, and I wish we all had the same Christmas. I'm glad to see all the police here today, because my trip from Arrington was that much faster. I was compelled to come here as soon as I could, because there's nothing better than real, true science and proof. I had no idea that Canada had one of the world's top 3 neurologists. And he stood up in Ottawa this morning and talked to everybody, and he said that a major CEO of one of the biggest insurance companies in the world told him that we have a pre-pandemic death rate between 18 and 65-year-olds is 44% and going up. This is a genocide, people.
Yes, it is.
This must be spread long, far, and wide.
Yes, that's right.
And as for the police officers, you won't have to follow me home, because I'm going to go to a crawl. Real slow. I won't drive fast.
All right. So I think Chris, are you ready?
Yay!
All right, Chris is a local from Campbell River. Can we give him a hand?
Hi everybody, this is a little intimidating following some of these speakers. I don't have prepared comments
No worries.
like Don did. I'm Chris O'Malley, I'm 48 years old, I'm from Camel River, I'm a working stiff with a mortgage. And I'm a freeborn Canadian citizen, which I plan to remain with all the help of you good people here. We've been through a crazy couple of years. Everybody felt like they're all atomized, they're all alone, that I'm the only one that feels this way. Why am I not fitting in with the rest of society? It is so heartening. I'm so proud and patriotic Canadian today to see all my fellow patriotic Canadians who look at each other with love and fraternity, not as vectors of death and disease. And so I want to thank you all. I feel this rotten edifice is starting to quiver and waver, and we just got to keep the pressure up. So let's keep pushing.
All right, next one.
Hi. I'm Michelle Riddle, and I'm with the Canada Health Alliance. I'm a healthcare professional who's been terminated from my job because I have a genetic condition that if I take these shots, well, they're going to kill me. I'll get myocarditis and die. Woo!
Well, they
right?
don't care, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't really care.
They don't really care. No, they don't.
That helps.
It is a true pleasure and a deep pride to be here with every one of you because we are strong, right?
Yes.
What are we? We are strong, right? We're strong because we stand in the face of abuse and discrimination.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we say no!
And we say no.
We say no.
Yeah. We are brave, right? What are we? We are brave. because we continue to smile in the face of hate. We saw that today. Smiling faces everywhere. It's amazing. And together, we are going to change this world with love, with peace. We're going to reinstate access to all freedoms that every Canadian, regardless of creed, color, height, race, gender, health status, has the right to enjoy, has the right to live with, has a right to participate in, because each and every one of us are Canadian citizens. When a dog is afraid, it'll run away or bark, snap, and snarl. Humans, like true. Humans are no different. And fear is the virus. So we need to stand up to this fear. We need to show our power. So we are strong. Woo! We are brave.